Typical antipsychotics. Drugs in this group include phenothiazines, butyrophenones, thioxanthines, other heterocyclics. So what makes an antipsychotic typical? It is the dopamine receptor blockade. This drug was designed based on the dopamine hypothesis of schizophrenia. The other name for these drugs include neuroleptics or first generation antipsychotics. In a previous video, the dopamine hypothesis and the various dopamine pathways have been discussed elaborately. The link to the video is given in the description box. Now let's see what the typical antipsychotics do to various dopamine pathways. It blocks the dopamine receptors in the mesolimbic pathway and reduce the positive symptoms of schizophrenia. In the mesocortical pathway, it might exaggerate the negative symptoms and cognitive symptoms of schizophrenia. It blocks the dopamine receptors in the nigrostriatal pathway and cause extrapyramidal side effects. And finally, it blocks the tuberoinfundibular pathway and cause hyperprolactinemia. Extrapyramidal side effects. This is the plasma concentration of antipsychotics versus D2 receptor blockade graph. You can note that the antipsychotic effect threshold is below 80%, whereas the extrapyramidal side effect threshold is above 80%. So while designing an antipsychotic, the D2 receptor blockade can be kept below 80% to reduce the extrapyramidal side effects. There is a fine balance between dopamine and acetylcholine in the striatum. So when you give a typical antipsychotic, the dopamine level starts to fall, and to compensate that, the acetylcholine level starts to rise. This results in the extrapyramidal side effects. Extrapyramidal side effects include acute muscular dystonia, which appears within hours or days of starting the therapy. It is characterized by muscular spasm of face, neck and jaw muscles. It is more common in children less than 10 years of age. Akathisia. It appears days or weeks of starting therapy. It is characterized by restlessness, feeling of discomfort and agitation. It usually manifests as a compelling desire to move about, but not accompanied by anxiety. It is sometimes mistaken as exacerbation of psychosis. Parkinsonism. This appears weeks or months of starting typical antipsychotic therapy. Tardive dyskinesia. It appears years after starting the typical antipsychotic therapy. It includes symptoms like purposeless involuntary facial and limb movements like chewing, pouting, lip smacking and chorioathetoid movement. This is believed to be due to dopamine receptor supersensitivity. Neuroleptic malignant syndrome. It usually presents after high dose of potent neuroleptic therapy, characterized by rigidity, immobility, tremors, semi-consciousness and autonomic instability. Sometimes it also presents as myoglobinuria. Centrally acting anticholinergics are the drug of choice in the management of dystonia, akathisia and Parkinsonism. Benzodiazepines and propranolol afford some symptomatic relief in akathisia. Tardive dyskinesia is very difficult to treat. Switching over to an atypical antipsychotic sometimes helps. Antioxidants are also proposed to afford some benefit in the management of dyskinesia. Centrally acting anticholinergics are strictly contraindicated because they might exacerbate the tardive dyskinesia. Of late, drugs like deutetrabenazine and valbenazine which are vesicular monoamine transporter 2 blockers, have been approved in the treatment of dyskinesia. Neuroleptic malignant syndrome is managed with the help of dandrolene sodium or bromocriptine. Why dopamine cannot be given in drug-induced Parkinsonism? In drug-induced Parkinsonism, the dopamine receptor is already occupied by the D2 blocker. So when you give a dopamine agonist or levodopa, it cannot act on the dopamine receptor because the receptor site is already occupied by D2 blockers. That's why the drug of choice in drug-induced Parkinsonism is a centrally acting anticholinergic. These drugs have additional antihistaminic, antimuscarinic and alpha blocking property. All these also contribute to the side effects caused by these typical antipsychotic drugs. The antimuscarinic side effects include cognitive impairment, urinary retention, dry mouth and blurred vision. The antihistaminic side effects include weight gain and sedation. Alpha blocking side effects include postural hypotension and male sexual dysfunction. Phenothiazines, drugs with aliphatic side chain like chlorpromazine, piperidine side chain like thioridazine, piperazine side chain like flufenazine. Chlorpromazine. Chlorpromazine is a low potency drug. That means it has very low D2 receptor blocking property. That's why these drugs have less propensity to cause extrapyramidal side effects. They are more sedative, they have more autonomic side effects, and they are more epileptogenic. Thioridazine. Thioridazine is also a low potency drug. This drug has maximum anticholinergic property. That's why these drugs cause very less of extrapyramidal side effects. They are arrhythmogenic. These drugs can cause retinal degeneration, lenticular and corneal opacities. Flufenazine. Flufenazine is a highly potent D2 blocker. That's why these drugs have high propensity to cause extrapyramidal side effects. They are less sedative and they have less autonomic side effects. They are less epileptogenic. So drugs which are less potent have less chance of causing extrapyramidal side effects. They produce more of autonomic side effects. Whereas drugs which are highly potent have more chance of causing extrapyramidal side effects and they cause less autonomic side effects. Butyrophenones, haloperidol. Haloperidol is a highly potent drug and thus they have high propensity to cause extrapyramidal side effects. They produce less of autonomic side effects, less weight gain, and they are less epileptogenic. Thioxanthin, flupentixol. These are relatively highly potent D2 blockers. They are less sedating. They are infrequently used now due to the side effects. They are reserved for withdrawn apathetic schizophrenic patients. Other heterocyclics like pimozide. Pimozide is a selective D2 blocker. It has less of antimuscarinic, antihistaminic and alpha blocking property. These drugs have a long T-half of 60 hours. That's why they are used for maintenance therapy of schizophrenia. This is a arrhythmogenic drug. Loxapine. Loxapine has dopamine blocking property similar to chlorpromazine. Levosulpiride. It is similar to cisapride. It has both antipsychotic as well as prokinetic property.